Shout out Near Falls with D Hall's podcast.
Welcome to Near Falls with D Hall. He's talking on bars and how they win it all. Yeah, it's just Near Falls with D Hall. The final takedown, the glory or the fall. So loosen up, step on in, wrestle with the need to win. Talking Near Falls with D Hall. Ready or not, he's here to brawl.
All right, joining me now on the call, we have head coach of the Norwin Knights, Mr. Kyle Martin. How are you, sir?
Great. Happy to talk to you. Getting excited for the season.
Absolutely, my friend. It's that time of year. The weather's starting to change a little bit, getting a little cold outside. Of course, college is starting to kick off, and I think that's a great way to, open our conversation. Talk to me about some of the guys that you might have rolling around in college. Obviously, what year is this for you? Year
this
4,
will be
5?
Going into year 5. Super excited. The stat that I keep getting is 3% of high school wrestlers actually go and do it in college. So I always want to try to be above average when it comes to that, and we're going to stick to that, and we're doing it pretty well. Right now, John Altieri, who was a senior my first year at Norwin, state runner-up. He's starting at Clarion. Got to see him wrestle 2 days ago now at the Clarion Open. Was up there. He looks good. He got up a weight class or 2. He looks really energetic. But, man, what a great human being outside of just the wrestling side of it. He's doing great work with missions and with the local church up there. It's really cool to see. Chase Kranitz won his wrestle off at Pitt. He had a nice win against Naval Academy this weekend. He's looking good. Really excited for him as well to be wrestling so close to home. Getting excited to go see him wrestle. I think they wrestle Princeton. I think it's right. Princeton. Yeah. Get to go see them in a little over a week. Luke Passarelli still grinding it out down at Davidson. He spoke to him earlier last week. He's looking at 133, competing for that spot. Aiden Pham's redshirting this year down at Fairmont State. Anthony Barley's senior at St. Vincent College, wrestling there. Nate Campbell, the midshipman at the Naval Academy. I think he's backing up Wask right now, and he's looking good. Always like seeing their pictures of their transformations as people and just seeing
looks
all
like a grown ass man now.
Yeah, exactly. But man, we got kids all over the place. Gannon, Gabe Conboy are at Penn State doing their academic stuff. Gage Mamie's there as well from last year's team. Nick Pushkar's crushing it at Slippery Rock. He just changed his major to, I think, finance and business, I believe. Larry Gogenauer just became a Marine, which I'm really excited about. He's going to be home here in a few weeks, so hopefully still him for some time on the mat. Kurt Phipps, no, he's not competing, but man, he just got inducted into the Norwin Hall of Fame, and he's at Virginia right now and actually on the mat helping them out, kind of as like a volunteer coach as he's working on his graduate degree, which is really cool. Drew Phipps is back in town for now, so he's helping us out when he can on the mats. Just saw Grant Williams from a few years ago running around the school the other day, and he's working on getting into the Air Force and that approach, which is so cool. Connor Henning still busting it out over at York. And man, it's really cool seeing these guys kind of develop, and not just in wrestling, but man, is it exciting. I get to watch all these guys compete in college, and we got a bunch of guys making some commitments to college. Real excited. Brooks Blasco made his commitment to Utah Valley. Landon Sidden to Penn State. Nate Klingon-Smith and Jack White are getting close to making some decisions. Joe Dahlman, first Norwin girl to commit to a college. She's going to Edinburgh. So, man, it's really cool. Really cool to see. I'm excited for all of them. I get very obnoxious to them, I know, because I'll text them. I've gotten better at not doing it every week. Now I'll try to put a few weeks in between it because I know they're busy, and I just want them to know I'm always thinking about them, kind of making sure they're on on the right path, and if there's anything I could do to help them. But yeah, a lot of alumni out there doing some great things.
I absolutely love that, Coach. All right, so you talked a little bit about your off season in that first part there. Landon, obviously a big offseason, winning Who's Number One, committing to Penn State. You had other guys, Brooks Blasco, committing to Utah Valley. Just a bunch of different things going on in the offseason. But in all that, how have you been able to kind of keep focus and say, all right, this is our offseason program. We're getting ready for the season. And what's that look like for you?
So, it's probably not the traditional way to go about it. We train all year. Different athletes have different goals, different plans, and we adjust to that as we go. With Landon not having a postseason, the goal changes, and his periodization plan changes then. And we do that with all of our athletes, write them up for all of our high school athletes of, what is your goal? Where do you want to be wrestling your best at what point in the year? It's not so much the season anymore because a lot of these guys are training most of the year. They're competing at, Fargo. We had Noah Curran, Klingensmith, the Buteras, Klippa wrestling at Fargo, Dahlman, Walker, Carson Champion, all wrestled out of Fargo this year. So that's a big tournament. We want them to be competing well there, but you can't constantly go, we got to go to this tournament. I'm getting more and more on training more, competing less with our programming. I'm able to do a lot with USA Wrestling, PA Wrestling in the summer because I have a fantastic coaching staff. Eric McGinnis does a fantastic job with our club and with our RTC in the summer. A lot of our coaches are in and out throughout the year.
I was gonna say that to a little later in the show, but you're getting into it now. So just give me all your coaches, man. Who helps you?
Oh man, calling me out, and I missed guys last year, and I'm gonna miss them again this year. But Coach McGinnis, Eric McGinnis, has been around with us this whole time. Caton Smiley is phenomenal. I don't know what I would do without Coach Smiley and his.
He's the paperwork guy, right?
Oh my gosh, and he
Dude,
keeps
you gotta
me.
have those are so important to have on the staff.
Yep, and those guys are great with the rosters and looking at lineups and stuff like that. And I'm more of my best time is in the practice room. I love it. It's my escape through the day, and I could live in a practice room forever and never have to go to a dual meet or tournament. And what it's getting to, and what I hope to get to, is where all these coaches that are in there working with the guys a little bit more personalized instead of, just me kind of overseeing it all, running the programming of everything, where I can just go to these tournaments and events and kind of just sit back and watch, take notes, and not have to have the, be in the corner and let the coaches coach. But we got Coach Smiley, Coach McGinnis, Dave Sidden, who does a great job, Jason Klingensmith, Heath Coles. We got Nolan Dare this year, fresh out of Seton Hill, scooped him up. He's going to be helping this year. We got the legend Don Doty at the middle school. We got Ty Kenny back this year. Bill Clausen, Josh Ridgway has been coming in and helping out. Drew Phipps has come in, and I hope I got everybody. I probably didn't. Somebody's going to be
mad. It's a good problem to have, as always, with you guys over there in Norwin. Come over there like a tribe of people, or an army coming in, which is a great thing. And I love that, because since you've taken over there at Norman, we've had many discussions of the direction on where you want everything to go, and the process of it. And it's not it was never this is how I want it. It was just, I want Norman to be the best possible program it could be, which it's definitely moving in that direction. Right. Let's just get into the next part of it. The schedule, man. You guys had a fantastic end of the year last year, not only individually, but obviously team success was great too. Right. Talk about, your schedule and how you build for not only team success, but individual success.
Well, I think they go hand in hand. I think the season for wrestling is super long. And if you try to, be a knockout punch every single week, you're not going to have that individual success at the end of the year, which it's becoming the most important part, is the individual season. The team season's great. I love it. I'm always a big fan of it. I love the team aspect of the sport. But you don't want to sacrifice that for, these guys that have big goals of winning state titles and everything like that. So it's a weird dynamic, and it's always fun to kind of, decide lineups and when guys can sit some weigh-ins out, and when we can give guys a little bit more time off here and there. So that's really fun. It's chaotic, but it's also fun. But I tell you what, like we start off with Canamac, and I think they're one of the favorites to win a WPIAL title this year. And our last dual meet of the year is Franklin Regional, and they're the defending champs and probably one of the favorites to win it again this year. So we always try to go front heavy with our schedule. We're going to go to Penn Manor for the first time tournament this year, following week by the Beast, followed up right after that for Powerade. We have the county tournament. We got Springfield Duels. One of the cool events that we're going, and this is like a huge shout out to Donnie Vinson from University of Buffalo and Brock Zackrell from Clarion. They're going to wrestle each other in a duel in January. I don't know the exact date, but we're going to wrestle St. Mary's at Clarion University right before it, which I think will be really cool for the kids. We're going to go down, hang out at Clarion, walk around, tour it, work out there, and then wrestle St. Mary's, and then stick around and watch Buffalo and Clarion wrestle, which is pretty cool. So the schedule has a little more dynamic. I guess a little more dynamic this year than it was last year, where we just kind of ran the gauntlet with Beast, Powerade, Doc B. I think Penn Manor's a super tough tournament, but now we have a little bit of, it's not back to back weekends where we get a little more time to really focus on where we can get better throughout. So we're wrestling our best at the end of January, but also our individuals are fresh, feeling good as we get into February, into the individual season.
Yeah. And, it's no secret that, Landon his season was cut short in that whole process last year. But obviously it doesn't really matter for him, because my man went through one of the most impressive stretches. The 15-day stretch that he did there at the end of December into January was unbelievable, absolutely incredible. And so my next question is, how do the kid's committed to Penn State, he's just won Who's Number One. How do you continue to challenge a guy like that?
Oh, well, 2 days ago he wrestled at the Clarion Open, wrestled, Brendan McCrone from Ohio State, who, had wins against Lilladall last year, and he wrestled him great, took him down twice, lost on just maybe a little bit of size, and just that's a really good college wrestler, right? I think the final was 7-6. And those are the lessons, and this is, speaks volumes to Landon. He didn't back down from those types of challenges. So it's my job as a coach to find the challenges that are appropriate to all of our athletes. And for somebody like Landon, you got to find them losses. And obviously that gets more difficult to do when you're at certain levels, right? Like he wins Who's Number One. He majors the number 2 guy in the country at his weight. So, all right, the next feasible thing is we'll go up in weight, which for a college open, the minimum's 125, and find the best guys that we can compete with, and find losses so we can see where we can work to get better. And to have that kind of attitude speaks volumes to him, and why he's at a level that he is. He doesn't back down from those challenges, and he kind of loves the whole game of wrestling, right? Of how I can get better, what are the little things I can do to improve. And man, is that becoming contagious with a lot of guys in the room, and not just the high school level. We're seeing it even at the youth level. I'm seeing it, with guys like Luke Stanley and Easton Herzog. Those guys are in the room and they see Landon, and you're starting to see their work ethic kind of change and how they're approaching it. And it's the same thing with the leadership we have in the room with guys like Nate Klingensmith and Noah Curran. The way they're approaching their workouts are different now than what I saw a year ago. And I give a lot of that to guys like Landon Sidden and the Klippas and the Blascos in the room that have this work ethic, because it's needed if you want to be successful. The system that we have at Norwin, it works. But the thing is, it works if you want it to work, and if you buy into it. And the guys that buy in, you see them jump levels through the year. Like you said, I think every year we've been in Norwin, we finished higher as a team than what we were ranked preseason. and that's great. But like I say all the time, we're going to end up where we end up. I don't put expectations on them. We just give them as many opportunities as possible to get better at wrestling and just get better at whatever it is they want to get better at, whether it's football, baseball, whatever. I just want to give them opportunities to be good human beings because, man, wrestling's great. I love it, but it's a small part of what we do and who we are. So we got to think bigger picture with that. I just went on a complete tangent off the question. So
Listen,
sorry.
listen, it's all good. I asked that question knowing what I was getting, and you answered great. So that was great. All right, next thing I have for you, Coach. Who's a guy that you're fantastic at this. You give me names, but you're very good at avoiding darted questions. So I'm going to ask you a darted question. Give me a name, or you can give me a couple names of WPIAL fans. They may not know this person, like a Colton Clipper last year. He was a guy that no one really knew about, and then by the end of the year, everyone knew who Colton Clipper was. Give me
Right.
someone like that.
Oh man, that is a direct question. I think I might be able to counter it with my typical nonsense. So here's the deal. If you want to have like a glue guy, right?
That's the next question, but you can round it together. Go ahead. I'll
So
take it.
here's how I gotta approach it. If you want to have a successful team, or you want to be a successful individual, you have to be a part of a team that is a glue guy, right?
Mm.
Every single person is there, because if one person isn't a glue guy, they're not going to mesh up. It's not, you're going to have a hole in the lineup. You're going to have a hole in your attitude, your focus, and that's detrimental to a team. It's detrimental to your practice partner. All those things. I think where we're going to see some names pop up. A lot can happen where they might not, if they buy in and they do and continue kind of the approach that they're going. I think Noah Curran's going to raise some eyebrows this year. I think there's guys like Sebastian Somerville, Santino Brasco. These guys are hard workers. Riley Schaefer, Tanner Schaefer, Jack White. Like, listen, I feel like they've kind of been under the radar, and now we're going to start seeing them kind of make some jumps with their approaches to how they're doing it. We have, guys like Jonah Fearley, who nobody's probably heard of, that, might make some splashes. I think we're pretty, I think we're the epitome of a glue team in general, right? I think that
I love that answer. I love
yeah,
that answer. And I'll be honest with you, you gave me names and you answered the glue question in one. So I'll take that. I love that answer. Because it is an interesting question. You got to have that glue guy, but to have a whole glue team and to have that approach that's a
right.
new one. I love that answer.
Right. And we have so many guys like that. Like, I think Brooks Blasco's had tough luck his 9th and 10th grade year with injury and all that stuff. I think he's going to have a pretty high impact year. I think, Colton Klippa, he might feel a little bit down with how his summer went with Fargo and everything. But I mean, he's wrestling with a beat up back and stuff like that. And he kind of fought through it, which is impressive. And he's going to come out on the other end of that being super tough again. I just think we have so many possibilities of these guys that are kind of under the radar that could have explosive years. And I continue to go back to it. They can, but it's kind of up to them, right? If they buy into the system, they're going to, buy into our attitude, our effort, our approach. You're going to see them jump some levels. And the thing is, and if they don't jump levels, that's okay, right? It's part of it. In wrestling, it's life. You can do everything right, absolutely everything right, and not get what you want out of it. Life punches us in the face all the time. I think wrestling is the best preparation for when life punches us in the face.
No disagreements there, my friend. Okay, next couple questions I have for you. Give me some people behind the scenes that may not necessarily get the credit, maybe some like boosters, things of that nature that you want to shed some light on.
Oh man, I got so many people to shout out. So our athletic director, Mike Burrow, is phenomenal. He, admits he's never been much of a wrestling guy, but man, he supports us tooth and nail. Always helps us out as much as he can. Norwin School Board has been excellent with us and giving us the opportunities to travel and approving that stuff for us. Our boosters do a great job. I mean, they work their butts off all year in trying to raise funds and allow us to have these opportunities. I mean, like we go to Delaware, we're going Powerade, we're going up to St. Mary's. Last year we went to California. None of that's possible without our boosters. So our boosters do a great job of that organization. The organizational piece of it, because I would never be able to do that. I can't. That's why I got Caton Smiley is like being the man for us with how organized he is with everything. And it's just like there's a lot of working parts in a wrestling program. And I think Norwin finally has that wrestling program where we are kind of considered, I don't want to say top tier, because I don't know if we are, right? But we're definitely a program that's not a walkthrough team anymore. I think we're pretty competitive at all the weights, and we're growing slowly and surely. So I think that's some big shout outs there. Like my parents are phenomenal. They kind of pushed me to conquer whatever was in my way and know that the struggle was real. They sacrificed so much for me, just so I would learn how to kind of live with vigor. Behind the scenes, the big one is my girlfriend Brittany Watson.
There you go.
Hey,
That's
she
what I was
pushes.
waiting for.
Oh my gosh! So
Give her some love. Come on now.
she's a big time runner. She's tough. She's way tough on me. She's a big time runner. Pushes me. Now I'm starting to run. We were talking tonight. We were out for a nice walk, and she's critiquing my running. And you're worried about this and this. And the goal is I want to at one point run an ultra marathon of bunch of miles, and she's like, well, that's not going to happen if you keep.
Typical wrestler to go to the I want to win a world championship before I even run a couple miles.
Oh, right,
I love
exactly,
that.
right. So she keeps my head on a swivel, but she also does something that I appreciate probably more than anything is that sometimes I get sick over wrestling, and I get mad over wrestling and frustrated, but she's really good at being that voice in my ear, like it's just wrestling, right? So it's I coach wrestling, but it's not who I am, right? Our wrestlers, they wrestle, it's not who they are. And as long as she keeps me on the straight and narrow with that, the better coach I'll be. So that's a big one. All of the former Knights now, as I said, 5 years in Norwin, I've had a lot of kids go through, and without them, like this program doesn't get to where it's at. Yep. And I'm so excited as they get out of college to come back and coach, to contribute to society. I'm so excited for all the things that they're doing in the health field and the business field and the finance field. It's just such a cool thing. Mrs. Kelly Jones, and Mrs. Heriberta, who is the coach of the Unified Sports at Norwin. One of the coolest things that we've done. We always do service projects every year, but Mrs. Jones, Santino's mom, came up with working out with the Unified Sports team. So we've done that a couple of times. We're going to continue doing that. It is so cool seeing so many of our wrestlers volunteer for that. We always get over 20, 30 to come to these workouts with the Unified Sports teams. We're excited for their bocce ball season coming up, and then their track and field in the spring. So they got a bunch of fans with us. We're going to hopefully be able to make some of the meets and support them. I guess I'll end, on this is that the Norwin wrestling team, the guys that we have, the girls that we have, they're phenomenal student athletes. They are phenomenal people. They have big hearts. They're motivated. They get me emotional thinking about like the journey I've had the last 5 years in Norwin and just how much like I've put into the program, but it's always been worth it. The ups, the downs, the getting sick over it and losing sleep over it, because man, they're becoming such great human beings. They take our mission, they run with it. They're always looking for service projects. They're always looking for the next thing that they can do to contribute. And it's just really cool how this program has kind of grown the last 5 years, and I'm really proud to be a part of it. I'll never be bigger than a program. It's always going to be the whole. I remind them that all the time. No one's bigger than the program. It's just really cool to be a small part of a larger thing. So
part of the cog, right?
Yep.
Part
absolutely.
of the cog. Coach, I have one more question before I leave you go, and I can't leave you go without asking you this. Give me your goals and expectations you have for this squad.
The goals are we are going to have a blast getting better at wrestling. We are going to enjoy as much of it as we can. We're going to challenge ourselves. We're going to grow as human beings. We're going to kick butt in the classroom. Um, we're gonna gain some personal goals, whatever they are, and I'm going to work my butt off to try to get them there.
Hmm.
I have no expectations. I never will, because once we slap those expectations on anything, then there's well, we failed, and I don't think we fell. I think we just have a new path, right?
Mm.
Not any person who comes out for wrestling, there's no failure in that. It's tough to do. It's a very difficult sport. It's tough to do all of it over Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
over Christmas, over New Year's, and for anybody to step foot on a mat and to be a part of a wrestling team, there's no expectation I'm going to put on you. So our expectation for our team is we'll be where we are at the end of the season. For the individuals, they'll be where they are at the end of the season. And I'm going to love them no matter what. I'm going to be their biggest fan no matter what. And whatever happens, happens. But we're going to get after it, and we're going to have a real fun year while we're at it.
Coach Kyle Martin, as always, Mr. Miyagi, my questions. I love you. Appreciate you, Coach. We'll see you out there soon.
Hey, thanks so much. Have a good one.
Later.